This is my first full weekend in the pulpit since the Eucharistic Congress. A couple weeks ago on the weekend of Congress, I presided and preached at the Saturday evening Mass, and Father Ronald stayed up in Indy at that time, and then we switched places, and Father Ronald came back and took care of the Sunday liturgies, so I could go back to Congress for the closing liturgy. That picture doesn't do it justice, what happened there. I'm really glad I was able to get back for that, because it was an incredible experience. There were a couple hundred bishops, 500 or 600 priests, several hundred seminarians, and 50,000 of our faithful Catholics. I'm told that the opening procession of that Mass took 29 minutes just to get all the priests, bishops, and seminarians to their seats. Cardinal Louis Tagley, the Pope's representative to the Congress, presided and gave the homily for that closing liturgy. And in his homily, he made a connection between Eucharistic conversion and missionary conversion. Being changed, conversion, being changed by the Eucharist means that we are sent as missionary disciples. Whenever we have the experience of being fed and nourished by the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus in the Eucharist, it should move us then to ask the question, now, where do I go to share this? Eucharistic conversion then leads to missionary conversion. The gift of the Eucharist, the gift of the body of Jesus Christ, is so that we can be that body in our homes, we can be that body in our parishes, we can be that body in our community, indeed we can be that body for the world. You can't separate what we do around this altar, you can't separate what we do in Eucharistic adoration in the chapel that sits behind me. You can't separate that from those two things, from our call to serve one another. Today we begin our annual Stewardship of Talent series. The theme that our Stewardship Committee has chosen for this series this year is In Gratitude We Serve. In Gratitude We Serve. That theme is a reminder that all Christian stewardship begins with thanksgiving, being thankful for who we are and what we have, being grateful for our blessings even when we don't like everything in our lives. I'm reminded of the boy who was asked to say grace before a meal. He looks down at the food and he says, "Lord, I like some of it, I don't like some of it, and some of it I don't even recognize, but I'm thankful for it all." It seems to me that there are three types of people in the world: those who take God's blessings completely for granted, those who are grateful for how God has blessed them, and those rare few who are grateful to God simply because God is God. Where are you on that scale of gratitude? Have you matured in your faith to the point where you understand that God is worthy of your devotion, even when things are not how you like them to be? Are you grateful to God just because God is God? And if you are, how does that show in your life? The Eucharist we celebrate each Sunday. The Jesus we receive each Sunday. His life was a life given in service. My flesh for the life of the world. We who call ourselves Christians must also give our lives in service for one another. I want to give you an assignment this week. It's an easy assignment. It's going to take 10 minutes of your time. I want you to spend 10 minutes sometime this coming week praying over this question: God, where do you want me to serve you in this coming year? God, where do you want me to serve you in this coming year? People will often ask me, "Father, how do I know where I'm needed?" And my answer is always the same: that's the wrong question. The question is not, where am I needed? The question is, what gifts has God given me to use? What am I passionate about? Where do I find joy in my life? Because the place where you are gifted, the place where you find passion and joy, that's where you need to serve, because that's how God has designed you. And if you're not sure of what your gifts you might have, then join us this Wednesday night at 6 p.m. for our Spiritual Gifts course. This is an opportunity to take an inventory that will help point you in the direction of your spiritual gifts so that you can then figure out a plan to put those gifts into action. Next week, we'll present to you our JP2 ministry booklet. It will have a listing of over 80 opportunities to serve both here at JP2 and beyond the walls of our parish. But for now, simply begin with that prayer. God, where do you want me to serve you in this coming year? Chris Stefanik, in his talk at Congress on the last day, reminded everyone that the Eucharist is a call to go forth and proclaim the good news of God. He even pointed out that the word go is 2/3 of God's name. Nourished by the Eucharist, we are called to go. We are sent. We are called to go forth and serve, both here in our parish and beyond our parish. I think it was Muhammad Ali who once said, "Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth." Mahatma Gandhi said, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in service to others." And the Indian poet Rabindranath Tagore once shared, "I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and saw that life was service. I acted, and behold, my service was joy." In gratitude, we serve. But when we serve according to our gifts, then we find joy.